Have you heard the story of Loki's children? It all started with the building of the walls of Asgard. The gods were afraid that the pace of the construction work is too high and they will have to actually pay the price for building. So Loki decided to seduce the horse of the builder by changing the form into that of a lovely mare. And almost a year later he came back, followed by Sleipnir, the eight-legged horse, whom he presented to Odin the Allfather. As wonderful as Sleipnir was, as great companion as he was to Odin, he also made Odin think, if Loki could be a mother to an eight-legged horse, what other children may he have birthed or fathered? With a furrowed brow, Odin demanded all Loki offspring to be gathered and brought in front of him. And so it happened. But none of the gods were prepared to see what the offspring actually was. First came Fenrir, also called Fenrir's wolf, a huge wolf. When he was brought to Asgard, he was not bigger than a normal dog, and he was still a puppy, and he also could speak. The gods were not happy about him. They were actually afraid that once he grows up, he will become a huge danger. So they came up with a game which they thought would allow them to imprison Fenrir. They presented different types of lines and asked Fenrir to allow them to bind him to see if he could get out of the bound. And so it went, one after another, and another and another. The lines were broken, and Fenrir could not be bound down, and the gods grew more and more afraid as Fenrir was growing up. At some point, they turned hopeless. They asked the dwarves to create a line which could withstand anything. And the dwarves used their craftsmanship and magic to create a thread not bigger than a silk one, but they used the roar of the bear and the root of the mountain to give it its strength. And so the gods presented the line again to Fenrir and asked him to play the game again. He looked at the line and smiled, like he could be bound by something so fragile. But the gods were not taking second chances now. They invited Fenrir to a desolate island and said that the game will be hosted there. This caused Fenrir to feel really uneasy. He felt that something is off. So he said that he will allow the gods to bind him with the line, but there was one condition. One of the gods was to put a hand into Fenrir's mouth, and no one wanted. But at some point, Tyr decided to do this. He put his entire arm into Fenrir's mouth, and the rest of the gods bound Fenrir. The wolf strained and tried to get out of the bound, but soon he noticed the line would not budge. With his anger and frustration, he bit down on Tyr's hand and had bitten it off. From that day onward, Tyr was also called One-Handed God. But so Fenrir remained bound, and he was left on the desolate island. It will be only during Ragnarok that he will be able to free himself, and he will kill Odin. If you think for a second that this is it, that these are all the children by Loki, an eight-legged horse and a huge wolf, oh, there is more. After Fenrir's wolf, there came Jormungand. Now he is known as the Midgard Snake. At first, he didn't seem quite intimidating, but the gods knew he would grow up. So they decided to take still little Snake down to Midgard and throw him into the vast ocean surrounding the land. They were hoping that the snake will either drown or the waves will smash him against the rocks. So they threw him in the water and left, hoping for the best. Only the best did not come, and Jormungand did not die, but he grew. Soon, he was so big he could encircle the entire land of Midgard. He filled in the entire ocean surrounding the land, and at some point he grew so big that he actually bit down on his very tail. His biggest enemy was Thor, and there were several instances at which Thor tried to kill him, but never succeeded. It was only during Ragnarok Thor managed to kill Jormungand. But Jormungand's venom managed to poison Thor, but Jormungand's venom did not only kill Thor, the god of thunder, it killed the entire Midgard. It swallowed the entire land and killed everything alive on the Midgard land. Loki also had a daughter. Her name was Hel. She was a quiet girl and not best looking as well. She was extremely pale and half of her face was rotten. Once Odin saw her, he was scared of her, but he also felt pity. He decided that he will make her a princess in a way. He sent her down to Helheim, the land of souls of those who did not die a hero death. These were the souls of people who died of natural causes or a coward's death. Hel resided over her kingdom, and she ruled it until the day of Ragnarok, when all the souls living in her kingdom fled the land and took revenge on the gods. And this is it, the story of the 3 scary children of Loki. If you want to hear more legends, subscribe to the channel.